Hello, beautiful ladies who have joined so far. I'm so happy to be here with you. Happy St. Patrick's Day for those who celebrate and wear green. Okay, hello, Cheryl, Anne, Amanda, Carrie, Aaron. It's so great to be with you guys here. It's going to just be me. Normally, Corey, who is my lead functional nutritionist, is also here with me on these coaching calls, but she's got a bug. There's just like nasty bugs going around this season. So I know that's a thing that we're all kind of navigating, I'm sure. Tell me in the chat what you're looking forward to for a little reset, why, what's going on with you. I'd love to read through those as we go along. Um, and this is really a chance to get some more personalized guidance as you are either working through the meal plan or just trying to get out of that winter cabin fever funk and, just make some better choices, okay? If you are new to one of my open coaching calls, you should know that we do not do overwhelm here. So today is all about really simple strategies that can help you feel better fast, even if you're still figuring things out, okay? And while this is a free call, what we are sharing today is exactly what we do with our paying clients. So if you want to grab a little notebook, otherwise don't worry, I'm sending the notes and the replay, because if you want to take any notes, whether through a Q&A or some of the tips that I share here, I want you to have that. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Allison. I'm a holistic nutritionist, and together with my pal Corey, who, like I said, would be on the next one, we help women just like you guys to heal your gut, overcome autoimmune symptoms without the crazy restrictive diets or endless guessing. We love food. We don't like drama, and we walk the walk, keeping our past chronic gut issues, like for me, it was SIBO, endless SIBO, parasites, crazy things, overgrowths, and then my autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's, keeping that in remission, totally managed, still while living life. I have two babies. For any parents out there, you must know that that is beyond a full-time job. And then I also work. I am a nutritionist, full-time. And, we need simple, realistic ways to be able to support our health. It can't be this drama-filled rigmarole every time. It just should not be. There's no peace in that, and I don't think that we heal that way. Whether you like traveling or going on vacation or any of those things, which I like all those things, we want to find ways to be able to live that way. I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever been on a healing protocol or have tried to eat healthy, if you have felt like you simply can't do both, you can't have it all, I'm here to say that's BS, because I do. We've got it figured out. So if that is a goal of yours, to not have to keep doing resets or Whole30s or rounds of AIP and just know how to live, that's what we really love helping our clients do and our audience here. So I'm so glad that you're here. And if that is a priority, you're in the right place. And we really like to do it from a strong and empowered place, not a woe is me, I've got symptoms, I've got this, health condition, and I have to do things this way. That's not how we roll either. So hopefully that resonates with you guys. Like I said, if you want to say hi in the chat so we know you're here with us, please feel free. Or if you'd like to share your screen, of course, we would love to see you. I would love to see you. I keep saying we as if my girl's with me, but she's not. It's okay. And like I said, if you didn't pick up the meal plan, the link is right above. Hi, thank you. I'm basically looking at a bunch of blank squares, so that's why I say, like, come chat with me. So I'm not just talking to myself. Okay. So what we are going to go through today, a few quick detox tips that you can use right away to beat the bloat, boost energy, and reset your metabolism. It doesn't take a million and two things to do that. It just takes the right things in the right order, and sometimes the simplest tweaks can really start to open things up. Carrie, if you just scroll up on the chat, the link is the very first thing that I put in the chat. So you should be able to see that if you scroll up. It's also in your email. If you received the email this morning about the coaching call, it was in the email that I sent around 7 or 8 a.m. Eastern this morning. So it should be in all the places. Okay. So we'll go through that. Then I want to talk through the biggest detox mistakes I see and what to do instead. I'm also going to share a really powerful client success story so you can see what's possible literally in like 6 weeks' time when you have everything working together holistically. We don't overcorrect with diet. We don't just say, yeah, just do a whole 30, 50 times. Like, no, I'm not doing that. That's no. So we're going to talk through what that really looks like and what that takes. And if you are looking for more support, I will share how we can work together. And then, of course, we'll do Q&A. All right, guys. Uh, spring is really an incredible time to reset your gut, to, look into getting some more energy because hopefully we're going to be getting out and having more fun. And if you start now, you can feel so much better by summer, especially more energy, better digestion, less bloat or digestive drama holding you back. If you are here for that, like, please make some noise in the chat and let me know if that's exactly what you're hoping to accomplish here. And like I said, if you want a big sis, if you want some support doing that, I will share more about that before we close. But for now, let's dive in. All right, so let's get into the first piece. So these are 3 things that you can start doing today that will help you feel better. And like I said, it's sometimes the unsexy, just little tweaks that we can make to really get going. Thank you for sharing, Anne. Okay, so alongside the meal plan, of course, like that's really going to help you with the food piece. I really wanted to take the guesswork out of it and just give you some really delicious, easy recipes with that grocery list and all that good stuff. So this is stuff to kind of do alongside that. That's going to really drive a lot of the food pieces. But let's talk about morning hydration. So many times we just see people that are having sluggish detoxification, which, as a reminder, your body detoxes every single day and night already. Doing a spring detox is really just saying, hey, I'm going to start paying attention to supporting my detoxification pathways. So to keep it really simple, one of our biggest detox pathways is through our kidneys and bladder, urine. Okay, so that's one thing. So we always want to make sure that we are hydrated. And some of the simplest things we can do is just start the day with hydration. So lemon water, a pinch of sea salt to boost digestion and hydration is a great way to go as well and get things moving. Bonus if it is warm water and or room temp. I'm going to paste the spring meal plan again, but it's literally, if you just scroll up in the chat right there. So here it is again, if you click on that link. Okay, then fiber. Okay, so the other detoxification pathway that people tend to struggle with is moving your bowels every day. And so if you are not having a healthy bowel movement every single day that feels complete, we have an issue. We have a detoxification issue. This cannot usher out toxins, excess hormones, things that the body has no use for and really needs to get rid of. When we see that bowel movements are inconsistent, we're skipping a lot of days, or we just don't feel like it's complete after we go, or maybe it's loose and we see undigested food in there. We know that there's certainly root cause issues that need to be looked at, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But a nice little tip is to say, hey, maybe we can flush while we're hydrating. We can also flush things out during breakfast by adding some more fiber. So a kind of quick little hack to do is 1 to 2 tablespoons of either ground flax or chia seeds you could do, as long as you can digest those okay. And you can even start with a much smaller dose than 1 to 2 tablespoons. You could just try a couple of teaspoons at first and see how that goes. And it's little sprinkles on your food or inside your smoothie if you'd like. This can really help with motility and flush out toxins as well. Unless, and I have that little asterisk there, if you have something called diverticulitis or your digestion is just really, really struggling right now, maybe you are super constipated or you've got super loose stools, don't bother with that. Okay, that's going to be more of a situation of we really need to understand more root cause issues, go much slower. Another thing you could do just to amp up some fiber, raspberries have a lot of great fiber, and that tends to be really easy for a lot of people. So maybe we're just saying, hey, I'm just going to grab a few raspberries and add that to my breakfast or add that to my smoothie. Blueberries are great too. So that's just a little idea if you're feeling like, I feel like those seeds would wreck me right now. Know thyself. I feel you. I have been there. Just maybe doing something with a little excess fiber like that could be super helpful. Sauteed greens, things like that nature, okay? And then the third tip would be we need to really take a look at our sleep, okay? Because so much detox actually happens in our sleep. And so there's things happening in the body that need to set off. And when our sleep is compromised because we've got blue light blasting in our face all day, maybe even into the night, if anyone likes to scroll during bed, I see you, I feel you, but no, that is a no-no for all the reasons. It's messing up with our hormones, it's messing our circadian rhythm, which is the clock of our body saying what time certain things should be done. Excuse me, I had a little tickle. So we want to just make sure that that clock is on time and it's saying when certain things are going to be done, like overnight, for example. So just like to always recommend a nice evening wind down ritual. There's lots that we can optimize here, but really pay attention to your sleep when you are saying, hey, I feel like I need a reset. I feel like I need a detox. Like, well, we've got to look at this. So trying a 5-minute breathing exercise, something that we love is called the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. You can look that up on YouTube or Google it. Very easy. It's just you inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. You do a few rounds of that. It feels so good. You do that any time of the day. We recommend doing that any time of the day that you need to. But it's especially helpful to just kind of wind down at night if you're feeling really amped or have trouble falling or staying asleep. Okay. So these are some of our favorite tips. And what I would say is if you've been feeling stuck, there is, and you've tried maybe some of these things, you're like, yeah, I'm doing, some of these things, or I've tried this. There's just often more going on beneath the surface. And that's really where you want to understand better your root cause issues and more personalized support and tweaks come in. So it's always so important to also, when you are trying these things, check in with how your body feels. That's why I like to give adaptations where I'm like, if your digestion's really struggling, you don't want to do the seeds. Maybe you want to do something else. So those are just some ideas for you to say, okay, I'm going to check it on my body, see how it feels, not force my body into a mold, but just honor and take what my body needs, because everyone is truly so unique. Okay. So let's get into some of the common detox pitfalls that I see and what to do instead. We just see these as, struggle bus situations because there's so much misinformation out there. And again, we are so unique. So I want to call these 3 mistakes out. Number 1, of course, going too extreme. Like I said, your body's already detoxing every day. There's really no need to be going so extreme. That's not sustainable. And you're not training yourself in a day-to-day how to keep anything sustainable when we do that. So one of the first things that we'll always see with going to extreme, cutting out carbs, skipping meals. Oh, I'm sure my digestion and weight and everything will be much better if I just skip meals. Let's try that. Let's try that for a minute, see how that feels. It sucks. It slows down your metabolism over time. We don't feel our best. Our blood sugar is a hot mess. In that case, our adrenals get really stressed, which throws off all of our hormones. So it is not a strategy. It's not a good strategy. It's not a long-lasting strategy. It's something that we like to tweak right away. And if you're someone that is wanting weight loss, again, you're going to see that and you're going to be like, no, I'm sure that'll work. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Tell me how it goes long term. Let me know how that goes, because I know that it doesn't go well. We see it all the time in food journals. It's not going to work. So we need to find a much more sustainable way. Try the meal plan. Okay. So we really want to focus on adding more nourishing foods that are supportive to your gut health and supportive to your detox pathways. Okay. Mistake number 2, relying on some of these more magic pill kinds of things that we'll see, like detox teas, or just throwing random supplements, at the wall, like gluten-free spaghetti, like I always like to say, without actually knowing what does your body need, right? We tend to see a lot of expensive pee when we see people just having these really long lists of supplements that they don't really even know why they're taking it. Like, I don't know, I saw an ad on Instagram, I heard something on a podcast, I did this, and so before you know it, it just kind of adds up to a ton of supplements. We're not sure why we're taking them. We're not even sure if they're doing anything. And sometimes that can cause more harm than good. So this is why we really like to use, and I'll show you what it looks like, a powerful functional symptom analysis to build custom protocols. And then when needed, if we need to do additional labs, like maybe a thyroid panel or a stool test, which we love the GI map test with clients, that can really help us dive in even deeper and get more advanced to uncover what could be driving symptoms like an infection or a thyroid imbalance or something else to further advance what your body needs. So we just don't think that throwing a ton of supplements at a body that's already like dealing with a lot is the best case scenario, right? It's usually just a really expensive Band-Aid. I'm just letting someone in. Okay. So mistake number 3 that we tend to see is just like overcorrecting with the diet and supplements is something we see constantly, right? So what we don't want people to do is ignore their stress and their nervous system, because that is an overarching umbrella to your health, right? If you've followed me for a while, you know that I often say it's not just what you eat, but how you eat. If you're eating in a stressed out state, for example, if you're eating while driving or while you're feverishly working on your laptop and you're just like shoving food in your mouth, it doesn't matter how healthy or clean that food is. You didn't even set off the very first step in digestion, which was to be in the parasympathetic state. So you can guess how the rest is going to go day after day, year after year. This is where we get leaky gut, food sensitivities, all these issues, SIBO. Okay, so this is something that's really important to take a look at. Stress and nervous system health. As modern day humans, we tend to be extremely inundated with too much stress. And look, I'm here for the high performing individuals. I am one as well. We can do a lot of things, but we've got to be counteracting it with that nervous system regulation. So let's use the fresh spring energy to set better boundaries, pour more into ourselves, please. And that's why we just never focus on food and supplements alone, because what we really see as a much better practice is let's get that on autopilot. Like, hey, I know what I'm eating. I know quick ways that I can meal prep. I know some recipes that do really well for me. I know the custom personalized supplements for what I actually need, and that's actually a much smaller list than maybe you were taking before, that are actually helping and getting you relief fast, so that we can focus a lot more on that, because this is where we see a lot unlock for people, a lot, because this is just not something that people really tend to go deep in on. And this is what also allows people to reintroduce foods when they've got food sensitivities, because nervous system plays a huge role in that. So if you guys are dealing with food sensitivities, for example, you know, this is often where we see a big missing piece, okay? So, you know, we also like to focus on things like breath work, movement, right? Detox, circadian rhythm, all those things are going to be really helpful, so that we're not just looking at food and supplement alone. And those are going to be game changers for digestion and energy. Did any of those resonated with you a lot? Let me know. This is exactly what we walk our clients through. We do a personalized plan that targets their root causes holistically and makes healing simple. You know, so also if you guys have kind of been doing things where it's like you hear of stuff, you try something, you know, you're kind of like Googling, you're on blogs and kind of piecing all these things together. That's why we tend to see some struggle bus, right? So it's always helpful to know better what's going on, and then you can be more consistent in your healing. What questions do you guys have so far? I'm going to stop there, because then I'm going to talk a little bit more about a case study to show you exactly some of the things that can be done and how long certain things might take to see more healing, to see more root causes being addressed. But so far, based off these tips, let me know if you have any questions. I'll give it a minute. All right, am I safe to continue? Good. And of course, we'll have more time for awesome. Thanks, Anne. We'll have more time for Q&A as it comes up. Okay. So one of our clients, we're calling her Sarah, came to me feeling really bloated no matter what she ate. She was exhausted by 3 p.m. every day. Has anyone been dealing with that like crashing energy in the afternoon? You know what I'm talking about. I know it's a major bummer, because you can't do life very easily, and then your evening goes pretty poorly as well. But that is something we see very common. After we did her functional symptom analysis, which you can see a bit about here. So after we did that functional symptom analysis, this is what gave us a better understanding of what was happening at a root cause level. So let me kind of take you through what we were seeing in this case. So we saw that her blood sugar and adrenals were completely out of balance. So you can see here, the gray line is how she came to us in June. So gray line up here, so we could see sugar handling is very high, adrenals very high, almost off the chart, and then fatty acids also being a major problem for hormone production, for lowering inflammation, all these things also very high. So we saw this as a major root cause issue for her, and she thought it was like, oh, I need to go on AIP. Like I need to keep doing these diets. And it's like, well, actually, can we look here? She was eating pretty well. That wasn't really quite the issue. There was more underlying stuff going on. So now that we know this completely changes the types of recommendations that we would give a person, right? She was also showing signs of not absorbing nutrients. So if you can see here, vitamin need, all the way high up in high priority. Minerals were okay, but like a little bit getting high too. And we saw all of this in her digestion and detox being really elevated. So these first four, small intestine and liver and gallbladder being super elevated with big issues here. And so when we see this with small intestine and liver and gallbladder, we know that nutrient absorption is not happening. So liver and gallbladder is really going to help us digest fats. And again, we need fats because every cell in our body is wrapped in fat. And so if we could be eating all the avocado and fatty fish and taking fish oil all we want, but if we're not absorbing it, it goes right back to the expensive pee, right? It's like we're just peeing it out. We're not absorbing this stuff. It's coming right out, especially if we have like floating stool, or it's loose, or there's even oil droplets in the water. We know things are not being absorbed. So that was a big deal because this person was spending money on vitamins, again, supplement, doing all these things. That's still got to go through your digestive system. So we have to optimize digestion, have to optimize that gut terrain to really start to see things moving the needle, right? So that was the other big thing that we saw with her that we really needed to correct. And then because her liver needed so much support as well, liver and gallbladder work together, we know that there was sluggish detox happening, right? And so this is a person that can do all the spring detox resets in the world, and it can help, but then we need to dig a little bit deeper to be like, oh, your liver is like in need of a lot of support right now. Most people's are, simply because we're modern day humans and our liver is inundated with medication that you might be taking, supplements that you might be taking, all the toxins that the body has to go through, excess hormones that the body needs to flush out every month. So this is where we start to see hormonal imbalances too. We've just got too much estrogen or progesterone floating around, or testosterone, whatever, and it's not coming out. So that's the other thing that will cause imbalances and where we'll see more issues, skin breakouts, metabolism, can't lose weight, can't gain weight, all these different things. Thyroid imbalances, right? You can see her thyroid was quite elevated too in medium priority. She didn't even know really if she was having a thyroid issue. But we can start to see that cascade of imbalances happening once these things are so elevated and out of whack. Everything else starts to kind of kick up. Her immune system was kicking up. This usually indicates food sensitivities, maybe sensitivities since we're in spring allergies, histamine reactions, all these things. The body is on high alert. Body might be fighting an infection as well, like a stealth chronic low infection. So these are now all the pieces that we have in place to better understand, like, yeah, okay, maybe you were dealing with bloat, skin rashes, exhaustion and crashing, but like this is at why. So when I say root causes, I'm not saying I need to know what you're diagnosed with. That's really the least of it. I need to know where are the imbalances in your body that might lead to a diagnosis that are leading to all the symptoms going on in your body. And this is the way we roll with it. Questions on this? Does this make sense? Oh, I see a couple. Oh, great. Thank you for sharing that. That nervous system regulation has been the best thing. It is incredible. Tracy, struggling to know if I need to do a detox or if it will just happen naturally as I heal. So something I mentioned is that we are all detoxing every single day. Every single day we detox already. But being modern day humans, we are inundated with the things that our body has to detox. And so with all of our detoxification pathways, peeing, pooping, sweating, moving is going to be the way we need to support our detoxification pathways. If those things feel out of whack, like, well, I'm not really hydrated. Well, I'm not really pooping very well every day, or there's undigested food in it, or it doesn't feel complete, or whatever, or I know I'm not moving, I know I'm not sweating, I know I'm not doing certain things, we know there could be some help, right? It would be nice to support those pieces. So we're never looking at drastic, green juice detox, just like all this junk. It's just gimmicks, it's garbage. What we really want to say is, let me focus on supporting my body's foundations like we're showing here, to better be able to allow my body to do exactly what it was designed to. Hopefully that helps. My pleasure. Okay, so what else did I want to say about this? I wanted to say that she, like I said, she was eating quite well most of the time. She was not a newbie to this. And that makes it so much more frustrating, right? Like, because you're trying so much, but you're just not seeing so much progress. So again, that's why getting these answers was so critical to us, pulling the right levers and simplifying things out of the gate with that personalized plan to support her with one-on-one. So what's really awesome, I don't know if you could see the dates on here, they're pretty small. This was about a 2-month span. She was feeling so much better within 6 weeks. So this orange line down here is what was happening after just 2 months of her working on her personalized plan. You can see everything started to reduce, especially, look, those fatty acids, we got them absorbing. Her energy started skyrocketing. The daily bloat was nearly non-existent. Her digestion was moving much smoother. She could tolerate the supplements that we had given her, which was also a struggle, and it tends to be a struggle for a lot of our clients, that they can't even tolerate half the supplements they try. They don't do very well with them, or functional doctors have recommended stuff and it doesn't go very well. She was absorbing her vitamins. Like, do you see how all the pieces start coming together? It's like, okay, now the good food she's eating actually absorbing. All that money she's spending at Whole Foods actually worth it now, right? All those good things. And then adrenals coming down, addressing nervous system, addressing stress, addressing blood sugar regulation it's such a critical part of what we do, because that's often the issue. A lot of time we see people eating well, but their blood sugar is a mess. So we tend to look at things like that. And then the small intestine. So as you can see, small intestine went down, but it was still pretty high priority, right? And so this is what was helping us understand there's probably something deeper going on, like an infection that needs to be corrected, or some imbalances. So what we did in looking at all this data with her and supporting her one-on-one, she had her personalized 3-month plan, which we love to simplify. So we like to drip it out in weekly tasks, because we don't like to, like I said, we like to simplify and not overwhelm people. So we give everybody meal plans and templates, a custom supplement protocol based on this data, one-on-one check-ins and DM support with Corey, who, like I mentioned, she has a cold today, so she had to stay off, but she is normally there one-on-one supporting our clients. We do simple schedules. Like I mentioned, I'm very busy. I know a lot of you guys are. We can't just do these 3-hour morning routines and these, crazy things. We really need to make it simple and get the most bang for your buck. So we really like to do daily lifestyle, nervous system practices, all these things, get it all into a daily schedule. And then bonus, we have an amazing community of women with chronic gut issues, autoimmune issues, all the things. And I lead group calls for more accountability and momentum. And it's just so nice, because this is where we normalize it. Like, raise your hand if this resonates. Like, your family and friends love you, want you to feel your best, but they're not going to eat like you. Like, they're not going to test taking things in and out of their diet. They're not going to take a million supplements. Like, they're not going to try the things that you've been trying, because either they don't feel they have to, or they really don't have any health issues at all. And so what we see is that causes a struggle where we don't feel safe with the people that we're around. It doesn't feel normalized to eat differently. It doesn't feel normalized to get to bed earlier, not drink alcohol at this occasion, right? Like, make a better choice for ourselves, because the people around us aren't. And so if we don't feel like we're part of the group, we fall off. Even the best, most diligent people, we start to fall off. And that's something that we see, and that's why we love to offer that community piece on top of the one-on-one coaching. Okay, so that's just a little bit about what we're doing with people. So then I want to get to how we were able to dive in even deeper. I mean, she was already doing like 90% better right here, right? Like, she was just killing it. But we were like, okay, obviously there's something going on under the hood. Let's pop the hood with a stool test that's called the GI map. So when we did this, we found that there was definitely what we suspected. Her gut bacteria was totally out of balance, resulting in a low-grade bacterial infection. So we see these three that are high. This is enough to cause whether it's constipation, diarrhea, mess with our food sensitivities, because these guys are overgrowing, these microbes. They're taking stuff over. It's not cute. And they cause a lot of these nasty symptoms that no matter how well we eat or what we're doing, it's not going to fully go away until these are eradicated. But what's great about getting that long game in place is this becomes so much easier. Like if I give you a supplement protocol to follow off of this, it's going to set you up for such success now versus if you've ever tried a really like big fat protocol based on lab results and you just like you were set up to fail because it was just too hard and you didn't have everything else working. Especially detox, like our detoxification pathways need to be open if we're going to start killing stuff. And something we see a lot that goes unaddressed in some of these really big programs that are really popular, all the things, they start with this and they say, okay, let's just start killing everything immediately. And your body wasn't ready for that. And so sometimes we hear stories of people coming to us where they were like, I tried all these expensive supplements, I did all these labs only to not be able to complete it because I felt miserable, terrible. I couldn't do it, I couldn't tolerate it. And so this is why we like to do it in a very specific order so that we see success with our clients and everyone feels good doing it. We don't want anyone feeling bad. So anyway, that is one of the biggest things that we found in the stool test. We also found that elastase 1 was not optimal. So elastase 1 is a pancreatic enzyme output. So if you're someone who you keep hearing you need to eat more animal protein, but you look at it and you're like, well, I can't eat that much. Or you do and it just doesn't sit well. Maybe it feels like a rock in your stomach, or you get constipated from eating meat or whatever it is, or you just kind of keep having these low-grade digestive issues. It tends to be that you just don't have the enzymes and your body knows it, so when you look at that plate of meat, you're like, well, it's a little off-putting. Does anyone ever feel that way, or maybe feel a little nauseous, with certain meals that are high in protein and fat? And that doesn't mean you're not a person who can't enjoy those things and can't get all the benefits from a higher protein diet. It means that you need to optimize your enzymatic output. And so that's something that we then will look at with someone. And then the other thing that we saw with this person is inflammation in their colon. So that's what the calprotectin marker is showing. And so this is what a GI doctor will use to essentially look at things like IBS, Crohn's, colitis, if they're going to diagnose that, or even all the way up to colon cancer. And so we have caught a lot of things with our stool test by looking at different markers that sometimes GI doctors just don't see, or you're on a waiting list to see a GI doctor, and so we can get it going a little bit quicker and see some really important things to tell a more complete story. And so this person was definitely struggling with some food sensitivities, and like we said, she had those digestive issues that just us doing those 3 months of the long game really helped, but then we were able to really put everything to bed that was underlying in a much more successful way. So that's why I always say doing things in this order is really how we see long-lasting results. And we see people complete our protocols all the time. Okay. So that's what's really great. All right. So if all of that makes sense and you're thinking that you would love to have that type of support and feel much better this spring and summer, that is exactly what's possible with our type of support and why I created my method called the Intune method. It's what I worked through when I could not get rid of all these pesky symptoms. I couldn't get into remission. I could not get over SIBO and all these gut infections. I had it 3 times in a year once with a top functional doctor helping me. And I realized it's because I didn't have so many of those daily pieces in place. I had lots of this data. Oh, lots of it. I just felt like my body was broken every time I saw more and more results, more and more labs, more and more stool tests, blood, all these things. I just kept like, I kept feeling like, okay, so I'm broken. I'm doing all the things and nothing is resolving. Like, let me know if you've ever felt that way. And what I really needed was to better understand, like, how am I eating? What supplements are going to support me on a more maintenance daily level that are really going to work? The nervous system regulation piece that no one was talking about, especially at that time, that was like a decade ago. No one was really talking about that. They were like, yeah, relax, like manage your stress, but nobody could help me do that. No one could help me see my blind spots. And then this information, after you get all that figured out, is much more useful because it's like, oh, okay, I got everything else working. I'm already feeling a lot better. This is what's going on. Let's kill it. Make sense why we do things that way? So anyway, I want to share with you how you can get our one-on-one support inside what we call the Intune method. And so I'm going to drop this link that you are free to use to apply to work with us and book a free call. And this is where I'd really love to learn a lot more about you, what's going on in your health journey, the things that you've tried, what are we left with, what are the biggest challenges, and see if this is even a right fit for you. And if it is, we've got lots of different options and ways that we support people using our method. And we would just walk you through it based on your custom situation and your goals. All right, loves? I know a couple of you came in late, so I'm also going to scroll up to some of the tips that we wanted to share. I also linked that meal plan above, but feel free to hit me with any questions. If you want to come on and chat, or if you want to use the chat, feel free. I'm here for a little while longer. Has anyone started the spring detox meal plan, or are you planning to? Tracy, thank you for asking. Have you helped people with lots of challenges? I feel like I go to the doctor and they just end up telling me I'm more. Exactly, Tracy. I'm so sorry that that happens. I have been there. That's exactly what I was saying before. 100%. That's basically what we specialize. That's basically what we specialize in. A lot of chronic gut issues, a lot of autoimmune issues. And when I say autoimmune, a lot of people aren't even diagnosed yet with anything. They don't know because there's so many things that can't even yet be identified. So absolutely, Tracy, I would love to talk to you and learn more about what's been going on, really sit with you. We do a 30-minute session for free where I really sit with you. I better understand what these challenges are. You're going to put it in the application form for me. And then I'll tell you exactly what we would do with you based on hearing all of that. Um, what support do you offer for people that struggle due to the MTHFR? Yeah, I have the MTHFR gene. So does Corey, our one-on-one coach. So do, I would say, 85 to 90% of our clients. Don't worry, we got you. We know what supplements can be supportive through that. And Tracy, you had mentioned, I think early on, like, oh, how do I know if I need to detox? When we have the MTHFR gene, we really need a lot of support with detox. And again, that doesn't mean you need to be doing drastic, crazy cleanses all the time. It just means what kind of daily schedule could we get in place for you that would just always support your detoxification? And if you were in a flare up or you were struggling, what would a more supportive, hands-on plan look like for you? That's something that we really like to support our clients with, because when we're dealing with chronic illness, there's no cure, right? But there's no cure for the common cold. I don't need a cure. None of us do. What we need is to better be in tune with our body and understand what is my day to day. How am I going to support and manage this? And this is how we'll see people eventually getting into remission. Seeing when they do go back to the doctor and do their labs, they're like, oh my God, my antibodies are way down. I'm in remission. It's because we are supporting it in the day to day. And that's the magic. And then, yeah, once we do things like stool testing or labs that might be needed to say, oh, and you have an infection. Oh, you have H. pylori too. It's so much easier at that point to support. Does that help, guys? Tracy? You are so welcome, Anne. Let me know if I have any questions. Thank you for saying that, Aaron. I appreciate that. Yeah, we've worked with hundreds of clients, and it's very sexy to say like, oh, like let's just do all the tests and all the supplements and all those things. And ultimately, what's really important is to say, okay, let's go about this in the smartest order to set you up for the most success possible. So back in the day, I used to say, oh, everyone do a GI map. Everyone, we got to do food sensitivity test. No, I'd rather talk to you first, see what would be the absolute best way forward for you, and then we get it going. Thank you, Coralis. I'm excited too. What else, my loves? Anything else I can help answer or address for you guys? And the meal plan, I also always like to, because I have these AIP, no, actually I don't in this one. Do I? It's AIP friendly, but I always like to say to everyone, you don't need to do that. Like it's not, if you follow me for a while, you probably followed me or found me from Googling AIP, right? Like most people do. I have a lot of recipes on it because it helped me initially so many years ago, but it's not a long-term plan by any means. I don't want it to be. Yeah, that's how Tracy found me. I know. I like that. I like that. I like that when someone told you you have to eliminate all the foods, you find me and I'm like, no, you don't. Like, I'll make it delicious for you. Let's help you feel better. I'm not going to say that, okay, yeah, obviously you might feel better eliminating certain foods you're sensitive to, but food sensitivities are a thing you can heal. I wish I could have collapsed time back then to better understand all the things that go into that. That's what we help our clients do. Okay. Feel better, feel normalized at the dinner table. You should be able to travel. You should be able to go on vacation without brown bagging everything, right? Like we want to find a more sustainable, peaceful way. That's how we heal. That's how we, get back to living, because we want to heal so we can live and be happy, right? We don't want to just do it for fun, for no reason, just to have our labs look different. It's because we want to feel our best. So that's super important to us. So in here you have 2 breakfast options. I always like to add, these different options that you can do. We have the meals, which could be lunch or dinner. It's really interchangeable. And we like to just get a good mix of animal proteins, some nice veggies. If rice does well for you, you don't see it on here, but feel free to add that as a starchy carb if rice does well for you. We just try to keep it a little more paleo because a lot of people can't always tolerate grains at this point, but would love to help you get that back for sure. I have a little like proposed week schedule. Again, you're going to see some of the tips that I just mentioned, right? We want to support your brain, your body, all the things, because it all works together, obviously. You can do a little nightcap like a bone broth or an herbal tea that feels good for you. We really want to, work on that sleep. If sleep is definitely a struggle for you, you want to support that. And then you can go through and check out some of the recipes. I also have that 20-minute meal prep just go right on my homepage if you want. Where if you just want to kind of start doing a little bit of a meal prep and you just want something really quick, you can just do that. But it's essentially this. It's essentially this, like this classic hash where you can do any kind of ground meat and veggies and just get it going. I do that every single weekend religiously. It saves my life. Tracy asks, why do smoothies make some people feel extra bloated, myself included? I feel great when I eat fruits, veggies, but in a smoothie. Oh, great question. This is because it's not just what you eat, but how you eat it. So with a smoothie, you're not chewing, and that's really important. Even, I know it might sound silly, but like when you're chewing, that's sending messages to the body to create salivary amylase, saliva. And in the saliva, salivary amylase is an enzyme, and it starts to break down food. And so sometimes when our digestion's really impaired, Tracy, smoothies aren't going to work for us very well. Or the way you can help make it work for you is you can add maybe some shredded coconut on top or chopped nuts, and you can chew those first. You can even, sometimes we'll have people like fake chew their smoothie. So it's like you're drinking it, but you're kind of making some chewing motion to help with the natural digestive process. Another thing that people tend to do with smoothies is just slurp and inhale them down. You're going to be bloated. Like if you are rushing your food, I don't care what you're eating. I don't care who you are. You will be bloated. That's just life. That's just the way it is. You're probably sucking in extra air. You're rushing. You're not letting the digestive process do what it needs to do. We need to respect the process. Exactly, Tracy. So, inhaling them, even if we're chewing fast or whatever. So, play with it. Even see what works better for you. Either a smoothie, slowing down, or a hash like this where everything's like chopped up already. And then you're going to further chew it, but it's kind of setting you up for success already. So really pay attention for my bloated peeps. How are you eating? Not what, how. Are you chewing? Are you slowing down? Can you do a little gratitude practice beforehand? I'm all about the mindful eating. I swear, I know it sounds silly and it sounds like, no, just tell me what to eat. No, I'm going to tell you how to eat better. That's even more important. Okay. Awesome, guys. So yeah, that's the meal plan in a nutshell. This is our one-on-one form. So you will tell us what's your current situation, what are your top 3 health concerns. It's so helpful for us to better understand this. It's also really helpful to know, what have you done so far, so I don't make those same necessarily recommendations, or I know what might work or not work already for you. And then if you're already working with a practitioner, we love to know that. We're not here to like step on anyone's toes, but we just love to know and be a part of the team if that's going to make sense for you. It's always helpful to know, like, what's going on with your work. If we have a shift worker, we've had everybody, teachers that are too scared to drink water because they can't pee, right? Like they feel like they have no pee breaks. What a struggle. Or hairdressers also really struggle with that. Shift workers, we've had ER doctors, medical doctors, other nutritionists and health coaches, all the things. And so it's just always helpful to better understand that. We can only work with people who are willing to eat animal proteins. If you are a vegan, we are not the best fit. So that is one caveat. Normally I don't have that issue, but every once in a while, I just always like to say that. And then after you submit the form, you will have access to my calendar. I have the next 3 days pretty open for calls. So feel free to apply, book a call now with us so we get you feeling better by summer. All right, my loves. And again, we will talk through the best course of action for you after we know much more about you. All right, my loves. All right. I mean, if there are oh, Tracy, what if we have more than 3 issues? It's okay, babe. Just fill it out to the best of your ability. It'll fit. I've had people tell me their whole life story in that, so don't worry. Go ahead and throw as much as you feel like are the biggest concerns for you, but it's always helpful to know what are the biggest priorities. Okay. So throw that in there and we will talk through it. All right, my love. And I always like to say too, if for any reason I feel like I can't support you, I tell you. And if I can make a referral or if I have another idea or a recommendation, I will make that. I genuinely just want to support you and help you guys because I know what it's like. I know what it's like going from specialist to specialist, doctor to doctor, and they're like, I don't know, maybe you're depressed. I don't know, maybe you're aging. Like that's what I was told when I was 27 years old, losing all my hair. I was one of like the top NYU endocrinologists at Columbia too, and this is the stuff I was being told. And this is part of, if you don't know my story, that's part of why I went back to school to become a nutritionist, because I was like, okay, no one's coming to save me. I'm going to have to figure this out myself. And when I do, I'm helping other women do the same thing. So that is the big sister energy with me and with Corey, who hopefully you get to meet. So my loves, have an amazing day. Okay, happy St. Patrick's Day. Good luck. I'm wearing green. I don't know if anybody else is, but get some green on. And I will talk to you guys soon. Hit me up if you have any questions at all. Oh, Tracy, I know that's so struggle bus. My pleasure, guys. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.